So today, we're going to dive into a really beautiful cultural program from Arreqqana. It's all about weaving together the diverse communities of an entire nation to foster this deep, lasting sense of unity. And it all starts with these three core elements, this simple but really powerful mantra that anchors the entire philosophy. You have thread, which represents our bonds, breath, representing our shared life, and homeland, representing, of course, our roots. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we're going to decode the program's poetic name. Then we'll explore its guiding philosophy, follow a participant on their sacred journey, and finally, uncover the lasting message that's woven right into its very core. So what does Qorasimavve no Yuraqhan actually mean? The name itself is pretty much the key to understanding the whole program. It's really this beautiful composition. So Qora means thread or bond. Simavve means alive, living, or present. So it implies something that's active, it's dynamic. And then Yuraqhan means many homelands or diverse roots. So when you put all of that together, you get this incredibly powerful phrase. It's not talking about some old static connection. No, this is a living bond, something that's actively connecting all these vastly different places and people. And that right there, that's the central metaphor for the whole experience. And here's the goal in action. The whole idea is that by having participants step into the lives of others, learning their customs, their dialects, they're not just watching from the sidelines. They are actively breeding a new, stronger fabric for the nation, one that's woven from love and a truly shared identity. Okay, so let's see how this idea builds into the program's guiding philosophy, which they call the flame of purpose. This is really the why behind the what we've been talking about. At its heart, the mission is so simple, but it's also incredibly profound. It's to completely dissolve the idea of the other. The goal is to get past seeing people as just strangers from a different region, and instead to recognize them as family, as kin, who are all part of that same wider flame of Arreqqana. And this mission is held up by four core principles. First, love is legacy. This isn't just about being friendly, it's about deeply acknowledging a community's entire story, the good and the bad. Unity in motion reminds us that unity isn't a destination, it's an active, ongoing process. Diversity as secret design is so crucial. It's not about making everyone the same, it's about finding that shared humanity, that shared breath, within all the differences. And finally, understanding through presence, which just highlights the incredible power of 12 days of genuine lived experience. Okay, so that's the philosophy, which is amazing. But how does it actually work? What does this journey really look like for the students who are selected for this 2-week exchange? The entire experience is packed into this carefully structured 12-day immersion. And look, the goal isn't to make them an expert on another culture in less than 2 weeks. It's about opening a door, planting a seed of respect and understanding that's meant to last a lifetime. The journey actually starts long before they even arrive. It begins with Qorasimavve, which is a period of patient preparation. That's followed by Kulmira, the breath of arrival, that sacred moment of the first greeting. And then comes Tareska, the ritual of first learning, where they speak their very first phrase in the local dialect. And the immersion just gets deeper. There's Yuraqhan, where they wear the regional clothing, guided by the elders, a really powerful act of respect. Then Zzulvavve is a collaborative offering they create with the host family. And finally, there's Zzulvavve, the return. But they don't just go back to their old lives. They return totally transformed, carrying this new, shared vision for their country. And what's so brilliant about this is how these poetic rituals are anchored to very real, concrete moments. Tareska, that happens on day 1, an immediate act of humility and effort. Yuraqhan on day 5 marks a much deeper level of acceptance and trust. And Zzulvavve, in those final days, is just this beautiful culmination of the entire relationship they've built. The program wraps up with a final blessing that just perfectly captures the entire philosophy. It brings together those 3 core elements we started with, the thread, the breath, and the homeland. So the first line is, thread breathes homeland. This suggests that the bonds we form, the connections between all of us, that's what gives life and vitality to the nation itself. The second line, breath breathes homeland, connects our shared existence, our very life force, to the identity and the spirit of the land we all call home. And this brings it all home with this final crucial point: homeland breathes thread. See, it's a reciprocal relationship. Our home, our shared Arreqqana,
in turn nourishes and gives life right back to the bonds we create. It's this beautiful, living cycle. So the real takeaway here isn't just to sit back and admire this program. It kind of leaves us with a powerful question for ourselves. Whether it's across nations or just across the street, how can we start weaving our own living threads?